Hello there. So, I have a revelation from Spirit that came with not only the phase that the moon is going into. Give me one moment. I've seen a lot of people being worried about what's going on out there. There is a huge energetic shift that's gonna actually impact how you see the world. Your perception of truth is gonna be changed, and the true Christic era is gonna be rebirth. And I've been saying this for many years now, but now we're in that season. So what's happening is that there are being a lot of distractions out there. They want people to remain in fear because the only thing that they can control a situation or whichever is through fear. So when we as humans integrate our shadow, we're also allowing ourselves to not fear anything or anyone or see circumstances in the way that we used to see them before. And it's very important that as humans, we understand this. And the reason why is because there is a massive shift of energies that's gonna happen regardless. That's gonna bring this new era into existence. If you go back into my published works in my community tab, you're gonna see specifically one speaking about the year of the snake and the dragon, the horse and the dragon. Read that one. Just with that, you're gonna understand where we're at. So there is a lot of misinformation in social media about the moon phases. The first thing you have to acknowledge is we do not live in the regular calendar of life. So people are telling you that you need to go based on your date of birth, based on your moon sign and stuff like that, which at a point in your astral chart does make sense if a professional tells you exactly what they're doing, because there is a rule to the madness. So based on that fact, let's say for an example, you were born in a specific date and time. First of all, the important is the phase of the moon you were born through. And then what you're going to do is you're going to see how is your body reacting 1 week before that specific phase of the moon comes into your experience. I was talking about this a few years ago, and then I got distracted with life, and I forgot to explain the reasoning behind it. The reasoning behind it is the golden liquid is formed in your body once a month, and it's something that always needs to be lit, which is the lamp within. And for that oil to actually come down like milk and honey, you have to have a cleansed diet, have a cleansed energetic field, etc. So imagine this multiplied by millions, where the matrix, which is the world that we live, goes through that Christic era. There is a glitch in between reality, and the lie. And within that glitch, a lot of people wakes up from the slumber. So if you're being feeling kind of ill, if you've been feeling kind of down, if you've been feeling not yourself, ground yourself. And I'm not joking, go hug a tree. Go hug a tree. Get yourself into nature. Silence the noise, please. Silence the noise. Silence the noise. The noise is a third party. The noise is anyone that wants to change your mind into doing something that you don't cope with. So when your body tells you that there's going to be an energetic change, you need to actually embody the love of Mother Mary, embody the love of Mother Gaia, embody the love of Sophia, and embody the love of Christ. Now, Sophia, for me, is the feminine energy within ourselves that has to go through different pits of hell. It has to go through the different levels of understanding until they free themselves from the illusion. Christ consciousness for me is when your feminine and masculine energies merge as one and you're grounded. So why we divide it into 4 pillars? Mother Mary works on the heart, works on your love for self, works on your love for others, and how you see the world through perception. And then Mother Gaia is the one that shows you through nature that you are safe within yourself. But for that, you have to be wearing what they call the armor of God. What the Bible speaks about of the armor of God is not other than heart, mind, and body becoming a trinity. And that only happens by feeding yourself in ways that are not toxic for your body so your organs can work in togetherness. What happens when you're anxious and what happens when you're depressed? Your gut is suffering the consequences. When your gut is not in alignment, your intuition gets totally messed up because you're thinking that whatever butterflies in the stomach you're feeling or whatever goosebumps you're feeling has something to do with being sick. And I'm not a doctor. If you feel sick, go see your doctor. But spiritually speaking, this is a cleanse that needs to happen for you to actually be able to receive and channel the love that is all around you. If you're in doubt, I always said seek God's route. What that means. There is a tendency in the internet that's telling everybody that we are gods. For a person that lives in ego, they can believe the hype. And even though it's a reality that is misconstrued or not explained correctly, they can blow up in boastful manners, thinking they are it. Spiritually happens. It happens to spiritual community as well. It is happening to the personal self. So to master that and not boast, have to boast, you have to understand humbleness. This was about that, not as a way of being sorry for yourself or others. It looks like I'm losing connection. Let's see what's going on here. It looks like my internet was down, so I'm not sure if you guys could hear that or not. Anywho, the traps of the ego are the ones that will put you in fight or flight mode. When you're in fight or flight mode, you're not receptive to love. The word that I was looking for earlier was defensiveness. Someone once said, "Oh, you're a bit defensive." If not being my full loving self with a person that was hiding themselves behind a computer, it's being defensive. So I'll be defensive every day. Because the only way that you can share with someone intentionally that you have good intentions is being present and showing up. And a lot of people that are hurt are falling into the games of the internet. What I'm saying with this is when we fall for that game is because we're desiring something specific and we're believing we're getting it. Yet we're not acknowledging the tricks of the manipulation that it comes with those interactions. And at one point I fell for it. And it was fun because I said, how if I am so intelligent in certain things in life, I will fall for a stupid trick like that. And then I realized it. My hope and my faith was that the person I recognized as to be a soul that I remembered was the one interacting with me. So I thought that it was a game and was having fun with it until I realized it wasn't a game and it was an intentional way to disalign me from my purpose. Regardless of who came for me and regardless of who I blamed for it, that placed me in a space where obviously my body was in high alert because I knew something wrong was happening, but I couldn't pinpoint it. Bottom line here is your intuition is huge. And if you allow fear, anxiety, depression, and all this stuff to get in the way of your intuition, then you're not going to experience life through the eyes of the divine. The divine experience life through your eyes because that is the way that divine consciousness experience the whole thing. So if we are experiencing that through the eyes of consciousness, that means that our consciousness is sleeping within us. And when we awaken it and we actually merge it all together into that trinity, we can what people call manifest things into existence that you never thought you could. So that's why I say don't let go of your dreams. Your dreams are worth exploring, and make sure that it all stays in alignment with who you are. There is something very important that I want to share, and this is a personal note with love. If you choose a career in life and you identify with that career and you believe that you are the career, you stop being human and you convert yourself into a product. When you convert yourself into a product, you have to market yourself. When you market yourself, you're selling an image. When you're selling an image, you can believe the hype. And when you believe the hype, your ego boasts. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it doesn't matter if you're a painter, it doesn't matter if you're a singer, it doesn't matter if you are a artist, kind of like an actor. It doesn't matter if you are a doctor. As soon as you expose yourself into media, if you allow ego to tell you, I am here, you're going to ruin the experience for yourself. Because the reason why your creativity and your talents are being exposed is for them to be of service of others. And yes, there is a profit on it. But when the profit has more weight than your life as a human, you became a puppet. A puppet that is easily manipulated by the fandom, a puppet that is manipulated easily by what others want for you in your life, a puppet that is manipulated with complacencies of what others believe you should be doing or not. So, whenever you want to be an artist, whenever you want to be in a public platform, be yourself. Be yourself, because you're not going to be $100 bill to be that person that is perfect for everybody else. Allow them to criticize and don't take it personal. When you take it personal, is because you think they're going to disinflate your image, an image that is false. But when you're true to yourself, you don't have that fear. I had the privilege of knowing a lot of artists in my life. Some of them were humble enough to understand that what they did for a living was not a personality or it was just a persona, something they did because of the love of the art. But what they did not, some of them did, but some of them don't understand is, even if you have that and chose that as your career, you cannot allow the people that are judging you and pointing fingers at you to decide who you can date, who or what you can wear, who or what you can do. And it's very important that you understand that, because even in my train on my side of the line, which is the spiritual community, and in the side of the line of being a painter or whatever, if you focus that your art has to be accepted, you're pushing the pendulum, because you're conditioning it and forcing it. But when you allow yourself to express your emotions honestly, people can relate to the story. It's not the same. You cannot live in a fantasy world where you think that the story of others is what you're going to use to become rich and famous. I come here and speak about my story. I don't care if people like it or not. I do it because maybe this video is going to fall in the lap of somebody that's going through the same situation, and they're going through a space where they don't understand the disassociation or the duality. And at that point, maybe I become a helping voice. But I'm not doing this for profit. I do have other things I do for profit. And there is a moment in the stage of becoming a spiritual community where I will do things for profit, but not because I don't know how to explain it. Let's say if I write a poem, I might put it online. If I write a book, then that's different. A book is actually, it takes time, it takes effort, takes energy. If I do a song, I will put it out there. There's a lot of people that recreated my work. Some of them use my words and try to speak of a knowledge that they do not understand. At the beginning, I was speaking about a knowledge that I felt, but I did not have it within me to show it as me, as who I am, because I was still remembering who I was. The gifts of the Spirit that I have, I've never ever charged anyone for them, because I believe that when you have gifts of the Spirit, they're there for a service and a purpose. I believe in donations and things like that. That's totally different. But when it comes to a compilation of knowledge that you channel through divine consciousness, the only way that actually makes sense is when people pay for the product, they apply the product while they read it, and it becomes a currency exchange. So I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself correctly, but if you're an artist and you have blockages in creating, I, for free, am gonna be doing a series of lives. You don't have to pay a penny. You just have to make sure that when I post on the page, on the community tab, you're pending of it. And what I'll do is I'll post with a specific character in there, so you know that that post means the articles or items you have to have ready in order to do the class or watch the video. If not, you can just like stop the video and get what you need. And what we're gonna do is I am gonna be reading and uploading videos on this small pamphlet that I wrote, which is a pamphlet that is going to allow the artist to stop being blocked in their creativity. It's a spiritual kind of way, something that I practice with friends and something that I practiced with artists in the past. Based on the fact that having been able to be around artists for a long time allow me to see how they fight the duality of fame and the duality of being themselves. So just remember, your body image and your self-esteem is important only when you're actually decluttering your body from toxins. But it is not what's important for you to actually be confident in yourself. Confidence is not a body. Confidence is an attitude. And it's not an attitude of entitlement. It's an attitude of understanding love and boundaries. And even though it has been difficult for me to understand boundaries based on my race, how I was raised, there comes a time in life where things just don't vibrate the same way that they vibrated before. So if you're still here with me, just close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Put your hand in your heart. Feel it. While you breathe, just feel your heart beating. Let the energy flow as Mother Mary embodies that full-blown open rose that comes from that heart. A heart that probably was hurt by ignorance, not by others, by ignorance. A heart that was hurt because they did not know. They didn't know how to love because they bought the lies of how love should look like or feel like. When the truth is in that heart, it's beating. You're breathing. You're grounding. Imagine that rose just opening up right now. Feel the warmth of the embrace. Allow yourself to sit in that frequency. There's no noise. It's only you, your breath, your heart. It's only you. When you learn how to sit in silence with that beat, you learn to dance. When you learn to be in silence with that deep breath, the fire is lit. Not the destruction, the true fire. The fire that comes from a heart that even when it was hurt, never lost hope in understanding themselves so they can become a better version of themselves. No shame, no blame, just love. Breathe it in. You're gonna feel it. You may feel a warm sensation going through your spine, through your neck. That embrace. Just remember how it felt to be loved for the first time by yourself. That day when you said, the world is not going to determine who or what I become. I am taking the lead. I am taking the step. That power cannot be mimicked. It has to be felt. You don't need somebody to hug you to feel it. You can feel it within you because it's yours. It's right there. It comes after the waterfall. It comes after the storm. It comes after you stop looking for the things that you want in others and find them in you. Imagine yourself right now sitting in the grass, just looking at nature. It could be a waterfall. It could be just the grass and looking at the sky, at the clouds. There is a limited amount of opportunities they linger in the ethers. You just have to allow them to come in. And if you have a closed heart, you're not going to feel them calling you. That's the muse for an artist. If you condition yourself to write about your heartbreak, you're always going to experience heartbreak because that's what you want to sing about. That's why you need to learn to tap into the energy and get out of that energy. If you become the martyr in your own story, that's what you're going to live, marginalized. rejected, felt like you were less than, but you put yourself in there. It wasn't the bullies. It wasn't the people that pointed the finger at you. You made the decision to stay in that vibration. You made the decision to act like them. You made the decision to be in anger against everyone else. I have been there. We all have. But when you switch that and you transform that into power, it doesn't mean they're going to wear a crown thinking you're a king or a queen. It means that you're grounding yourself and understanding that those were projections that had to mirror in your life so you can value who you are and remember the love that is right here. It's not going nowhere. Nobody can take it away from you because it's yours to begin with. I once gave the keys of my heart to somebody. Probably they thought it was me, I don't know, bombarding them with what they call gaslighting or love bombing. It was a deep recognition of a soul that has experienced life with me. Problem was that I didn't realize that it wasn't the right frequency. Do I hold grudges? No. Because probably that person was there to show me the mirror for me to understand where I am right now. And they don't hold that much of a say in who I become. That's my decision. When you value that about yourself, that's when the heart beats without fear, with knowing, with embracing. That energy of love that Mother Mary gives to you, it's inside of you. You just have to turn off the noise. The noise of the conditioned love that you were taught. That's not true. It's not real. It's not. So what I want you to do with me right now that you're breathing and you're feeling your love and your heart. So I want you to say, I am sovereign. Say it out loud. I am sovereign. Seal it. I am sovereign. You are love. The only thing that you did in life was give that love without measures because you didn't know how valuable you were. And yes, there's 20,000 people that probably took advantage of it, but that's not who you are. That's who you were in the past. Because today, you love who you're becoming. You have patience with where you're at. You're alive. You hear that? I am alive. So if you let that people hold on tightly to you, you're the one that is going to go down the pits of delusion in an illusion that was caused by that pain that is not real. It's not. It's not real at all. What was real was you were raised in a way where they taught you that for you to have love in your life, you have to beg for it. You have to cling to it. You had to ask for it. But That's not true. That were their wounds that they did not heal. You are not that. You are a being full of light, love, patience, compassion. You are not a disease. You are not a condition. You're perfectly imperfect yourself. And you're just in a point of life where life is inviting you to live differently from a new perception, where whatever comes from outside is not going to be that noise that tells you, go back to feeling bad, go back to feeling sad, go back to feeling sorry. I am sovereign, which means what you say, it is not going to make a dent in my life. You know why? Because I see you are projecting your lacks on me. And that's not who I am. I am love. And I'm not scared of loving someone else that actually does vibrate in my frequency and it's willing to openly give and receive. So if you see me as being quote unquote defensive, ask yourself, why did I put barriers with you to begin with when all I gave from the start was pure love? We had to get there somehow. It could have been me acting based on my own interactions, but it also could have been you that did not clear the air. There is a lot of things in life that you just let go and you stop attaching yourself to. And one of them is how the people out there see you. You are not your body. You are not your skin. You are your heart, baby. You are your heart. And if your heart is as big as an ocean, you need to learn how to actually swim in those waters. There is a point in life where the ocean is as deep as you want it to be. I was one there. Like, I really was there once. I ended up in a very bad relationship where it literally put me in a very bad place. And I had to go around 10 years of recovery. When I started the Battle of Love, the Awakening, the bullies that came against me made me fear just going outside of my house. And I didn't know that at that point I was being manipulated into getting into that stage. Hey, love, I see you. Hi. Thank you for being here. So, long story short, I actually understood that I allowed them to get me into that space because I still had mirrors and reflections that I was not understanding. I didn't have the capacity to understand that the way I was expressing myself sounded as I was needy, clingy, and dependent of others. Because I saw it as the way that I actually asked my parents to acknowledge me. And for me, that was normal. It was normal. But it stops being normal when you understand your value. And when you understand your value, you become a rock like Peter. And when you understand your heart, you're open like Mary Magdalene. And if you read every single disciple in the Bible, you'll find yourself. Not because you're indoctrinated to read the Bible as a document that has to be experienced a certain way, because your spirit, which is inside of you, which is that Holy Spirit that Christ said he will give to us, is your love. So open your heart again. Take your time, but open your heart again. Because if you live with a closed heart, you know what's happening? They won. They won because they manipulated you into a point where you felt sorry for yourself and you never acknowledged that you are not them. So open your heart again. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye. See you in the next one.